Hi, welcome to Reddit Tea Time. My fiancé, female 27, wants to call off our wedding if I, male 26, don't let her parents move in with us after we get married. After my grandfather's death 6 months ago, I inherited 90% of his wealth with no contest to the will. This granted me not only enough money to never work again, I also got a massive estate he claimed as his hunting cabin. It's big enough to fit my fiancé, my parents, and her parents comfortably. However, I said I didn't want them moving in with us, and now it's turned into a total blowout. To those who'll ask, no, common law doesn't apply to us, and after a heated debate, she agreed to sign a prenup, with witnesses around, if I agreed to buy her a nice ring and a vacation once a year. She clearly isn't with me for the money. Obviously, this comes off as a rich person problem, but until 5 months ago, I was still living in a one-bedroom apartment working at a rather large supermarket retail store making $12 an hour, and going to be paying off college debt until I was in my 60s. My fiancé is still working her nursing job, and we've been fully living together for 4 years. Some background into our relationship. We met 6 years ago. There were literally zero issues with us dating. When it came to some sort of conflict, we sat down, explained both of our sides like adults, and generally fixed the problem. We've rarely gotten into arguments and have the same end goals in life. Children, grow old, die, be buried next to each other, and have fun whenever we can. I've always had an incredibly distant relationship with her parents. When she introduced me to them, they both stated they didn't like me to my face and thought I wasn't good enough. Her father even said, "Not in my lifetime," when I asked for his permission to marry his daughter, which I stated the only reason I was doing it was for an olive branch. My parents, on the other hand, love my fiancé. They scooped her up like she was one of us from the start, have never had anything bad to say about her in public, nor have they in private. She, at least in my parents' eyes, is the metaphorical second coming of Christ. During my grandfather's decline in health, I was the first one there. He just got old, and with being old comes complications. I stopped working my higher-paying job to work retail to have more time to take care of him because his other children were busy. This was a very stressful time in our relationship. I just recently left my job, was not around often, and I myself was super stressed. Recently, I've begun the slow move of everything over there. While we still have to live in our apartment until the lease agreement is up, there's nothing against the rules of me moving stuff. I brought it up to my girlfriend how taking care of my grandfather has really made me realize how important my family is, and that I wanted to know if it was okay for my parents to move into the new house with us. My dad could retire, and my mom could spend the rest of her life relaxing, not stressing over bills or debt, because I can pay that off over time. I'm not insane enough to pay it all in one go. She expressed how that was an amazing idea, and how she'd like her parents to move in as well. I laughed at the idea and asked if she was serious, and why would I want to live in a house with people I don't like nor want to interact with. She explained that this could be a good chance at us healing old wounds and making amends. I explained that not only do I not want to heal old wounds, if it was up to me, they wouldn't be coming to the wedding. Obviously, this was the wrong thing to say, and now she's giving the ultimatum of let them move in or the wedding is off. While I understand her side, I seriously don't want to interact with them in any capacity. They've tried numerous times to get her back with exes, lie about me, even spread a rumor about me being unfaithful, until I pulled up real evidence of me being nowhere near they said I was, thanks to Google location. My fiancé knows all of this and still wants to try and rebuild a relationship with them. This past week, I've been avoiding her with excuses and white lies. I've been meeting with accountants, lawyers, wedding venue people, and jewelers. I've also been spending all-nighters at my grandfather's grave, drinking with him and not getting back home until 4 a.m. To me, it feels like my grandfather is still the only person I can vent my deepest secrets and frustrations to, which is why I've come to you, Reddit. I feel trapped. On one hand, I don't want to live with people I absolutely hate, and on the other hand, I don't want to lose the woman of my dreams. I want a third party's opinion on the matter, with no connection to me whatsoever, as I feel it's the best way to make a good judgment without people close to me influencing my choices. I'm more than willing to answer questions and know how this subreddit works because I too am a pizza-eating, pimple-popping Redditor myself. Now for some comments. You're nuts at your age and with a potential fresh marriage to even entertain as a joke the idea of your psycho in-laws mooching off you before the ink is even dry on the marriage certificate. The woman of your dreams would never allow her parents to be that vile to you and tolerate it. Look, my father liked my brother-in-law but did not want my sister to marry him. It was his situation and family he objected to. At the rehearsal, the officiant told my father, "You say I give this woman or her mother, and I do." My father looked at my sister and said, "What if I say I don't give this woman because I don't believe in this marriage?" My sister looked him straight in the eye and told him, "Then I walk down the aisle alone and give myself because I love him." Make no mistake, my father never badmouthed my brother-in-law before or after the wedding. He did talk to my sister once about his concerns before they were married. My sister would never have tolerated behavior like your in-laws have shown. My parents wouldn't have been that disrespectful to either of them. If your fiancé really loved you, she wouldn't have allowed it. She certainly would never ask you to ignore it and live with them. Take a long, hard look at your relationship. It's not as rosy and wonderful as you think. Edit. My father did walk her down the aisle and gave her away. She expects you to take care of people who hate you? Do not give in to her demands. Honestly, I don't think you should get married to her because of the manipulation alone. Her parents are manipulative. Now you see where she gets it from. You wrote, "My fiancé knows all of this and still wants to try and rebuild a relationship with them. They're cruel to your face and have actively tried to break up your relationship, but your fiancé wants to be tight with them and move them in? This is a flat-out deal breaker. I'm serious, you should end the relationship over this. Her job as your partner is to protect you from abusers. And instead she wants to force abusers into your life. She's utterly failing you as a partner. You need to be no contact immediately with her parents, and you don't live with people that you're no contact with. If she chooses to have a relationship with them, fine, but it's not going to involve you, and it certainly won't involve your future kids because if they can't respect you, they don't get to have a relationship with your children either. But honestly, you need to break it up. Spend some time in r/justnomil to see how awful your future is going to be if you marry somebody who allows their parents to treat you like dirt. I, male 24, am engaged to my fiancé, female 27, for a little over a year now. We've been together for 7 years and have had a great time from my point of view. Our family relations are good. The sexual life is nice. We're planning on having kids in a few years and everything seems to be well communicated. Well, a few weeks ago, I found myself quite in the mood one night and asked her if we could do it. She told me no, which I understood and then went to bed after taking care of it myself. Some days after, I was watching her finish up her corrections. I forgot to mention she's a college math teacher. And I asked her if she felt like we could maybe make love tonight. And she again answered me no with an annoyed sigh. I was taken aback by the sigh because I didn't feel like I was being too demanding, but I apologized and let her go to bed. I was under the impression she was stressed out by the end of the school year, so I gave her space about the subject for a few weeks. Fast forward to 2 days ago. It had been a week, the college year had ended, so I was happy she was relieved of her stress. In the evening, I surprise hugged her while she was reading a book on the sofa and asked her if she was feeling like we could have a special night to celebrate an end to the school year. Those special nights usually include us ordering food, watching a bunch of movies, and then ending the night with something in the bedroom. Well, she got up and started talking loudly, almost yelling but not that much, that I was an idiot for always wanting to do it and I could put my stuff somewhere else if I couldn't keep those thoughts to myself. I forgot to add we're not religious, so the principle of waiting after marriage isn't in place here since we had intercourse before those few weeks. When she snapped at me like that, I was shocked and decided to take a shower after apologizing. Important detail, we don't have a lock on the bathroom door. Well, I was startled by the fight and tried to clear up my mind by taking care of myself. My fiancé barged into the room sometime after I started before seeing me and widening her eyes and her mouth in what I interpreted as disgust. Anyway, she started to yell at me by telling me how dare I do this stuff when she just told me I needed to stop with those sexual thoughts, that I was gross for even still thinking about it when she wasn't comfortable with doing it. I tried to tell her that me doing that was respecting what she had told me, that I wasn't going to insist if she really didn't want me to. She went to bed crying when I explained to her why I was taking care of myself. I was so confused and worried about what she had told me, and I was scared she wouldn't forgive me for what I did. I was then about to fall asleep and received a call from my father-in-law. I was confused again, but still answered. I got greeted by 2 minutes of yelling at me because how dare I almost rape her daughter. I was a piece of trash and I should get the hell away from her before he calls the police on me. I had no idea what he was on about and started to mildly sob before hanging up. I woke my fiancé up kind of brutally and started asking her what the F she told her father. I was quite rude and almost yelling. I can admit it, and I wish I could apologize for it because I was emotional. Anyway, she told me he deserved to know that my libido was a big problem and that I shouldn't have thought about those kinds of things. I was even more confused when she told me how much of a monster I was for asking her those things when I knew she wasn't feeling like it. Because I'm sorry, but I'm not a professional mind reader, so I can't read her thoughts really. I interrupted her and told her I was leaving for an hour, and when I came back, she better be gone because I couldn't risk the father-in-law actually calling the cops on me if we were still in the same house. It was about 1 a.m. when I left, and when I came back around 2:30, the house was empty of her presence and I started to cry profusely. I was confused and scared about what was happening with her. What made her react like this for such a simple thing? I was worried if she was feeling okay, where she was, and if we were going to be all right. I called her several times and the voicemail went off immediately. Why I say I might be the idiot is because I told her to leave in the middle of the night with no place to go. I expected her to be at her parents' house since her dad's voicemail also went off when I called him after. As I said, I'm so confused and worried and I don't know what to do. Is there something I can try? Now for some comments. Why are you still with someone who falsely accused you of rape? She falsely accused you of rape to her dad and you're apologizing? I'm really confused why you would want to be with someone who did that to you. I get history, but all history would be out the window for me if I was accused of trying to rape my significant other. I'll say that if this was sudden, it might be mental illness. Are you aware of anything that runs in her family? I would say talk to them, but she told them you are a rapist, so maybe don't contact them. You do need to protect yourself here though. Stop calling her. It can be seen as harassment and would not look good on you with a rape allegation. Leave, dude. Run far and fast. If you marry this woman, I guarantee you will have a dead bedroom. Forever. Hell, you're not even married yet and she's telling you all you want is sex. I speak from experience, bro. Find a woman who is sexually compatible with you because she ain't it. So my best friend and I, both female and 21, had been single for a while before about a year ago. My boyfriend, male 27, and I met and he asked for my number. At first, I hadn't entertained him because he's super attractive and I thought it was a dare or a joke, trauma from high school. But he stuck it through and proved that he actually liked me. When we made it official, I texted my best friend and told her that I found a boyfriend and stuff, and she was excited for me. She asked for his picture, but I felt that the relationship was too new and volatile, so I didn't send her the picture, and I told her that I wasn't ready. She was fine with that, but she made a joke that he was probably ugly. I didn't really respond to it and we didn't touch that issue again. Fast forward like 2 months when I felt that we were more secure in the relationship. We took pictures while on a date and I posted it on Instagram and tagged my boyfriend. Obviously, my best friend saw it and she messaged me saying basically, where did I find such an attractive guy? Did he have a brother, etc. It was just jokes, so I laughed it off. Looking back, she said another thing that I hadn't really paid attention to, which was basically, I'm lucky that such an attractive guy chose to go for me. It was weird but on brand for our jokes, so I didn't follow it up. Yesterday, I was over at my boyfriend's house and I was texting my best friend on Instagram. You know that on Instagram, the username comes up big at the top of the chat, so my boyfriend looked over and saw it and basically says like, who is that? Let's call my best friend Sophie. I was like, that's Sophie. Now my boyfriend seemed pretty shocked and I was like, what's wrong? And he pulled out his phone and pulled up his Instagram and I realized that he and Sophie had a message thread. I thought that was weird. Anyway, after reading through the message thread, I realized that after I tagged my boyfriend, Sophie messaged him like she wanted to be friends without mentioning me and started coming on to him. He told her that he had a girlfriend and she implied that she already knew that and saw the photo and that she was much more attractive than me. My boyfriend didn't engage her in conversation after that. I was feeling super betrayed, so I texted her and asked why did she message my boyfriend on Instagram. She said that she messaged him to test if he would be faithful to me when the time comes. I'm not sure what to believe. Now for some comments. If she was testing him, she should have shared this information with you. Of course, she was being shady. She's lying. Cut her loose. Keep the guy. He's been honest and stood up for your relationship even when you weren't aware. Green flag for him. Lose the friend though. That is no friend. Your friend sounds like an insecure, jealous piece of crap. Hearing you found someone and immediately trying to knock you down a peg by saying he's probably ugly is very passive-aggressive towards you. Her messaging him without saying anything to you is another swipe at you. She's saying it was a test because he rejected her and you caught her. But her messaging him in the first place is born from her own insecurities and wanting to feel like she's better than you. Like it's a competition. It's not, and she's simply a horrible person who is not mature enough to have some introspection or self-awareness about how she acts. She puts you down and is trying to take your boyfriend. She's not your friend and you need to get rid of her ASAP, or I can guarantee this type of girl will only continue to hurt you under the guise of, it's just a joke, it was just a test. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments below. If you liked this story and you've made it this far, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate you spending your valuable time with me. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next Reddit story. In the meantime, please take care of yourself. Bye for now.